I know it's quiet for you YouTube viewers, so I'll just, I'll be here. While posting up on the socials. We're doing Scarab Occults today because I was looking into doing the purple rubrics and I was like, eh. We'll have to do them eventually, but like, I keep looking at my Scarab Occult Terminators I've already painted. And I really like them. Copy. Post. This guy over on Twitch. What you up to, fat mans? Holy crap. I got the little bar graph up for YouTube. It was just like 2, 2, 2, 14. Welcome in, everyone. Quick reminder, if you are watching on YouTube, you won't hear any of the music unless it's coming out of my headphones. If you're on Twitch, that's where you'll get the music. If you want music, you can always boot up another tab, get your own playlist going. More grot tanks, nice. And as always, chat will be on the screen, at least until people start abusing the hell out of that. And then I'll have to figure out how to change that. But we've got Scarab Occults to work on. I actually reset my wet palette. Too much paint in here. Magnetized arms. Yeah, we gotta tear through these. I feel like these will be much easier. Not necessarily easier. They just, I don't know. They feel more like it feels better to finish them for some reason. I just like their look a lot more, I guess. I kind of hate that even in Phalanx, it feels like Scarab Occults aren't that useful. Even though, like, Phalanx is the list for the Scarab Occults. You should just make a squad of Grot Stompas, which all just end up being like Ardboys or something, or Mega Knobs. I don't know. The sci-fi is good for the approach. I think for the lore fanatics, the main things that need to occur is like the story needs to get pushed a bit, right? Like, are the Thousand Suns at the Webway yet? Because I've heard Chaos Space Marines are. But that was like forever ago. And what about the replacement for the Primarch in Night Lord's Decimus? Has that gone anywhere? Is it going to go anywhere? I think it'd be baller though if I mean it wouldn't happen. But I mean everyone's at this point assuming Dark Angels at some point are gonna go trader. For one reason or another. It'd be kind of interesting if one of the Trader Legions somehow managed to come back. But that probably won't happen. There's like there's no groundwork laid for it. So if they did it, if they like came forward with like, oh, by the way, Alpha Legion was actually like working for the Imperium the whole time. You just didn't fully understand what they were doing. Like, I'm pretty sure people's heads would explode. I mean, Vastor has a Demon Prince model. It's pretty cool. I actually really like it. That's why I'm debating doing Soulforged for this tournament instead of Knights, but like, kind of want to just do Knights. Sadly, my local store, I guess they know not to put the Codex out, unlike last time with the Emperor's Children release. Although I think the thing that made them put the Emperor's Children models out after they got them was the fact that the Codex was already out. What are we talking about, Redcrest? How far back are we? Which one? Are we talking about Dark Angels being traitor? Because I agree with you. They've always been traitor. I mean, I don't know how you nuke an Imperial planet with the mother of a Primarch on it and not get immediately like labeled traitor. Oh yeah, Alpha Legion. That's got to be it, man. That's gonna be like the big secret. Alpha Legion were never traitor this whole time. It's all just been lies and secrets disseminated to make you feel like they are. They've just been doing their job the whole time. They're like Imperial secret shoppers. They just go planet to planet, and they're just kind of like, hey, you ever hear of chaos? You want to join chaos? We're chaos. We're absolutely chaos. Kurz isn't going to come back. It's just going to be Decimus, I think, at that point. They just got to, like, make Decimus a thing. We were kind of hoping that some of the side factions for Chaos were going to get the Imperial side faction treatment. Where you get the one character. Like, there's just one special character for it. And if you use that special character, like, certain models get, like, a bonus. For as long as the character's on the field, potentially. Like the old Vulcan rule. You get to reroll your hits with your meltaguns and stuff. I think it was reroll wounds, because you would always take like a multi-melta or like a twin-linked back in the day. Back when twin-linked was reroll hit. And then Vulcan gave it like reroll wounds or something. It gave like that and flamethrowers reroll wounds. You just would run like a ton of land speeders with multi-meltas and flamethrowers. Just decimate armies. That was like 4th or 5th edition. No, yeah, Peter Turbo supposed to be coming back. Honestly, I think Peter Turbo should be a knight-sized obliterator. I think that would be great. Be the coolest model in the game. Like Questoris-sized. It's just a small head in the middle of like a giant frickin' super armored body. He'd be worth like 400 points. Slow moving, but he'd have like 6 ranged weapon profiles. As a nod to the fans who call him Peter Turbo, he has something called a turbo cannon. I don't even play Iron Warriors anymore. I might just buy that model. Honestly, friggin' Corvus Corax. If there's got to be like, okay, they have to be waiting for a moment where something warp related occurs that freaks out a bit. Because Lorgar and Corax should come in as demon primarchs. Because Corax is already like mutated, right? Like he's already basically like a big crow. They already talk about how Space Wolves transform into wolves. Space Marines get some demon primarchs. It's the big revelation that the children of the Emperor were all made using Emperor DNA plus demon primarch stuff, like demon princey things. And then they just write off the horror of that by being like, and they're so pure and focused on saving humanity that they overcame their demon selves. There you go. That's what makes them so much better than their Chaos Space Marine counterparts. They didn't succumb to the power. That's honestly, out of everything that should be focused on, Votann need a pretty heavy expansion. I get that they're brand new. Like, they're just brand new. But the avenue for new models with them is so intense. Although I don't know what the metrics are on how many people bought into Votann. I almost would have. If Votann came out like 3 months prior to them being released, we'd be sitting here repainting my old Votann. But by that point in time, I was already all in on Scarab Occults and, you know, just getting as much Thousand Suns as possible. I wasn't about to, like, abandon ship and just go pure Votann. I already had the Primarch. I had so many rubrics, so many vehicles. I was like, nope, we're just sticking with it. So, white armor, regardless of who the model is actually easy to paint if you have a really good recipe, I guess is the term we would use for that. So a good white recipe is to actually start from like a blue or something, or a light blue or light purple, and then work your way up to like a really light gray, and then highlight with white. And you can kind of do this mildly quickly depending on how the armor is supposed to be worked up. Like, where is it? Here. Army Painter War Paints Fanatic line. Brigade Gray. Brigade Gray is such a good off-white white to kind of build to. And then you can just use, like, actual white. Because white armor looks bad as a flat. It just does. I always agree with anyone who's like, I don't like how white armor looks. It's like, it's because you painted it flat and it's white and it looks terrible. There's no emphasis. There's no depth. There's no detail. There's no shadows. I think a lot of miniature painters have all talked about how you never go pure white unless it's like the purest of highlights. And that's it. And for my Thousand Suns, I didn't paint any trim. These guys were gold to start with. We're just working backwards from panel painting. All trim was already done. How to do yellow? Okay, so like yellow is a trick. Were you the one I showed the speed paint idea to, or like was that someone else? Because I showed someone a speed paint idea where you just kind of do white. You do white primer and then you just hit it with a yellow speed paint, and then if you're doing orcs, you can do the green over top of the areas you want the orc skin color to be. Because the yellow is a good peak for orc skin. And then you can kind of just go in and redetail stuff. Yeah, so that was Arch that I told that to. But yellow is a harder thing to approach depending on how you want to approach it. I've always said if you're going to paint something yellow, start from white. So white primer the thing. Or if you want to do just a part of it yellow, get a really good white cover paint. Specifically, I think Proacryl white, which is really good. If you're doing pink, the thing about the pink is you want the pink to be zenithal underneath. Like you want it to be pink, and then you want a zenithal to white. Because the pink makes the pink pushes yellow to what? Like purple? It's like purple or blue or something. So that's a shadow color. It's kind of like how you do like colored shadows, which I always love colored shadows. I prefer colored shadows to people who are just like, hey, I put Nolan oil on it at the end. It's like, okay, cool. I even feel Agrax is a little better of a choice for your shader, just because it's a colored shadow, even though it's like dark brown. But a lot of the shaders I use on a lot of my models is either Dragunov, which is blue, or Jurchi, which is purple. Because I like colored shaders. Army Painter's Fanatic line has a magenta shader, which that's awesome. Magenta-based shadows are really cool. Well, they're warm, but they're awesome looking. Just depends on what your main color is. I'm going to put a dab of glazing medium down. This is the old Army Painter War Paint Blue. It, like, even on a wet palette, it dries so quickly. I hate it. What's up, Dark Apostle? But yeah, Echo. White paint is rough. If you find a thing you like doing, then that's cool. You said it was like a sepia wash. It's pretty good. But from my experience, if you're ever trying to block an area out because you want to paint it yellow versus like other stuff that you've already painted, seriously, the best white paint I've ever used is Pro Acryl. Not even sponsored. No hashtag ad here. My friends and I have used a ton of paint products, and Pro Acryl has been fantastic for single coat coverage. I haven't used the pure white Fanatic, but Brigade Grays goes on pretty awesome as well. So I imagine that one's pretty good, specifically because the store that I bought my Brigade Gray from, all the white was sold out. So I imagine the white's pretty good from Army Painter. The only issue I have with the Pro Acryl Titanium White is it doesn't like blend when I've tried to blend it. It's not like smooth, or it's not like a smooth blend. It's, you put it down and it's like, this area is white now, and you're like, cool, can I fade to like another color? And it's like, no. you're like, all right, I guess I'll figure something out, I guess. This is me doing my own stuff. Yeah, I'm Dark Apostle. I'm just trying to, get my stuff together. Update my Thousand Suns. I was cool with my Thousand Suns for a while, and then the Thousand Suns new stuff came out, and there was the picture of the Demon Prince on the cover of the box. And that Demon Prince had bright, highly saturated blue armor with gold trim, and I saw it and my brain immediately went, we want that. Let's do that. And here we are. Doing highly saturated blue as my armor plating, whereas I was happy before with the contrast over metal. Now we're just updating everything. And what's cool is the contrast paint we applied, as long as we don't necessarily full cover the panels, we have the edge shadows already. The Acerman blue on these surfaces create the blue shadow layer. So I don't need to be hyper exact with the entire surface, and I like that. I can just focus on trying to avoid hitting the trim, putting in big patches of blue. Indeed, Duke. My Emperor's Children Legion, I feel, is getting a little outdone by the fabulous Tzeentch Thousand Suns Legion. Although my Emp Children certainly still stand out. Magnets! I'm a little sad. For a while I was debating putting the Hellfire missile racks on the backs of the people with the heavy weapons. And I was always thinking about that, because there was this notion online of like, oh, you shouldn't do that because as things die, if maybe you're like, oh, I have to get rid of the missile launcher here and not the Gatling gun, that's like a thing. But it's like, well, if the Gatling gun has the missile launcher, you just need to position that best. Like, you don't really need to care. And it's all on one unit, so if you've got one model left and your squad lead, if you have a Terminator Sorcerer Lord, then you just have a missile launcher and a Gatling gun. Or you could go with the Psyker. It's one or the other, I guess. So I'm kind of annoyed at how I put these together, but it is what it is. Specifically because in the video game, in Space Marine 2, the Gatling gun wielding Terminator is the one that has the Hellfire rack. Nice. Seems like orcs are your legion, Fat Man's Kitchen. Definitely suits the idea of just making whatever into whatever. At least the old system did. There's enough things for the new system where it's like, ah, that's fine. But the old system of just looted tanks, oof. Those would have been your heyday. I remember when the rules were in place for like more narrative vehicles. So you could have like a Rhino with a big old blast cannon on it. Just cost you extra points to field it. It is fluorescent. It is, and we got to fix a lot of this. These guys aren't fluorescent, but they're going to be updated to So Flat fluorescent yellow, which is then hit with high flow fluorescent gold, or fluorescent green. I don't know why I said gold. I'm just staring at gold all day. No, he does not. I feel like he's talked enough in his videos that he could probably train an AI platform on his own voice and just have it do the videos for him going forward. That could be his retirement, bro. You could just tell the AI to like Google topics. Then you could go outside. Be like the ending scene in 300 where he goes into the field of wheat. Green gold is actually really cool. It's some brands call it Aztec gold. Green gold is like a nice hue. There's fun things you can do with metals that not a lot of people think about, because you view it as just like, oh, it's gold. But if you base color the area you're about to paint gold purple, you get like a purple hued gold, and it's pretty cool. I think there was a Miniac video where he painted the surface of an area rose color and then painted it gold, and it turned into rose gold, which is just a pinkish hued gold. And he thought it was really awesome looking. And you can do that just with any metallic. Where are all you people coming from? Holy crap. What's up, To Metal and Beyond? Just a heads up to anyone that's new to the stream, I am streaming over on Twitch. On Twitch, we do have music, because that's how Twitch works. I can set that all up to, you know, not go to the VOD so I don't get yelled at. If you're watching on YouTube and you want to listen to something, go ham. Cue up a good playlist. If not, sultry tones of my voice. Maybe an occasional microphone crackle, depending on if it picks up my cell phone. Gold is usually in the browns, orange, and red. Yeah. You can kind of lean it in any direction. Pure red is usually where you get to copper or brass. I think it's mostly copper. Gunmetals and silvers are, of course, grayscale. You can go all the way up to like platinum, which is pretty much white. Oh, geez, you guys are talking so fast now. I am not. I'm in the U.S. on the East Coast. My name is Polish, though. My name is generally Slavic, but family's from Poland. And that is all you get as I try to prevent full doxing of myself. Which is not easy considering how open my other job is about just saying our names during the podcast. Happy trees indeed. I found out the Spearhead expansion box was like $60. It's like 60 or $70 for the new season of Spearhead. I like stuff like Spearhead for like new players, but I didn't realize how much it was going to irk me that the store that I go to, the people who are now getting into AOS due to like the changes that made them want to get in on it, like none of them want to play anything but Spearhead. It feels like there's only one or two other people that go to this store who want to play AOS, but there's maybe like 10 or 15 people who have AOS armies, but they only ever seem to want to play Spearhead. And like Spearhead's okay. I get it. But I've got 3 Lords of Change, and I'd really like to play with them at some point. What armies do you all play in chat, or do you just paint? What's your hobby situation? Doesn't even need to be 40k or Games Workshop titles. I know I specifically exist within that realm, just because the local scene near me is pretty heavy into Games Workshop stuff. Pretty heavy into it. To my understanding, the Marvel tabletop game has been picked up a bit. I mean, it is refined, but I don't know if it's refined in a good way. That's my problem with it. If they had way more Spearhead options for each army type, I'd be okay with it. But the fact that it's kind of like Combat Patrol and that normally there's just one, and that some armies are finally getting expanded options, which is cool. Expanded options are what I want out of a game like this. Like, I finally have a Thousand Suns army list that makes me happy for Combat Patrol. But if we go over to Spearhead, my Disciples of Tzeentch list is just what it is. 3 Flamers, 3 Screamers, 2 small squads, like half-size squads of Zangors, 1 full-size squad of Kyric Acolytes, and a Magister. And the problem is that on that size board, on the 1 table quarter size board, that takes up so much space that it is near impossible for me to put things in positions to not get completely screwed over. Like if something gets into melee with my front line, if they get first, my back line's usually in melee as well. And I frickin' hate that. As an army that's like, everything we do is shooting. Warhammer in general, Space Marine 2 got me hooked. Turns out a few guys in my job are Warhammer fans. That's always the crazy part, man. Space Marine 2 drops, and now like everyone's kind of coming out of the woodwork with like, oh yeah, I play that game. I play the tabletop. I was watching Lords of War a bit, and they were talking heavily about how, in general, they're just seeing massive influxes of people walking into the store. Not even necessarily for Games Workshop. A lot of it is just like, hey man, tabletop games are interesting and fun and social, and that's something that we've kind of been wound up into wanting as a culture these past couple, this past decade, just about. We're now all like, I want to see another human being when I do something. And that would be fun. So they find out there's this tabletop thing, and then they go there, and they're just like, oh, but there's all these other options too. This is cool. It's creating an interesting flux of players. Wife got new to the hobby. Wife got Ultimate Starter Set. Collecting models. Ooh, Tau. Everyone's gonna make fun of you at every tournament, but some of them are gonna be doing it out of like, haha, that's funny, let's play because this is awesome. And then some of them are gonna be like, I hate this army. You're a bad person for playing Tau. Don't listen to that second person. Just play. Because I think Tau are cool. I was kind of hoping the Tau suits would have looked better a little bit. I think some of the suits, like the newer suits, are starting to look really good. Like some of the new suits look really good. I was really hoping most of the suits, though, would end up looking like stealth suits, because the stealth suits were my favorite. And I think there's a few that kind of get that feeling. Like, what is it? The Ghost Keel? Ghost Keel looks fantastic. But then there's a bunch of suits that just feel too boxy. Like most of the Crisis suits feel like they need a refresh, in my opinion. I think the Crisis suits could deal with at least a little update visually. But outside of that, I mean, they're fine. Oh, you picked up and people... Oh, no. Okay, at least you knew it was good fun. At least you knew that. That's always my worry if someone's like new and they're at a store picking up Tau because they're like, I like Tau, and then someone says some offhanded comment, like an offhanded comment to you in store, and you're just not used to the, I guess, the internal memes and stuff, and it just feels a little bit like, oh no, what have I done? Why do people immediately hate me? Nah. I think Tau are very necessary as an army. They're so intrinsically ranged with enough benefits to it. Like, way, in my opinion, way better benefits at times than what even the Imperial Guard can achieve for their ranged. Things like that really make the meta interesting, because if everything was melee, there'd be like one list, right? Just everyone would play melee. But if you're going to a tournament, you have to assume there might be a Tau, right? There's probably going to be a Tau player. How are you going to play into the Tau? So the lists aren't so skewed in any one direction, and it really works out, I think. That's actually probably one of the biggest things people should be talking about with the toughness nerf for the knights. Toughness nerf for knights opens up so many options for so many models to suddenly become dominant in so many different lists. Like, new knight toughness, even though the Emperor's Children didn't really have a lot of choice, it really improves the quality that comes from the Noise Marines. Genuinely improves it. It allows armies like Chaos to not necessarily need many Predators with las cannons. They can now lean a little bit more into the Forge Fiends. Like, it really adjusts how lists are going to work. Oh, play on tabletop. Tide wall, shield line. You could do, I think Bricky had the story from the tournament he went to with his Night Lords where he went up against a guy with 3 Storm Surges. This was back in, I think, 9th edition. And Bricky's Jump Pack Lord from the Night Lords with its special unique artifact that it had one-tapped a Storm Surge in a single turn with one of the greatest rolls of all time. I did a tournament not far from here where someone had the, what is it? It's like the Warhound equivalent in Tau. Like, it's you have to buy it from Forge World. It's huge. I just can't remember what it's called. He had one, and his win rate was all loss. Because, like, you can't hide that thing. The moment you're playing, it's either, like, I think it can't even be off the field for its points value. I can't remember. So, like, turn 1, you're just getting shot. Like, it's happening. Someone's getting line on it, and someone's just dumping las cannons into it. By turn 2 or 3, it's dead. And there goes most of your army. See, but Fat Man, what you can do is you can lure it out in a way that will annoy other players. You could buy up a bunch of those Tau helmets that they use to inform their allies of what to do. And then just put them on all your orcs. And now you're playing Orc Tau. Could you imagine a squad of Ardboy orcs wearing stealth suits with just orc heads coming out the front? Oh, you want me to do... So the plan with Kill Team, I need to get ahead of the game with the overall squads. And I know I keep saying this, and then I keep not doing it, because this project has been the most important thing to me these past couple weeks. If you've ever watched a Bricky video where he talks about wanting to play the game, he goes into detail about how the things he does on YouTube and streaming take up so much of his time that it's very rare that he's able to go to games and play them. I think one year he bought a channel that did battle reports because he wanted to start playing battle reports against big people in the industry or like interesting guests or something who also play Warhammer 40k. So he could like do a battle report interview with them, which that's a fun idea to me. And it sounds awesome, but the amount of time and effort it takes to organize it, edit it, like all that is so much that even though that channel had good foot traffic, he was losing money doing it. And he talks about how annoying it is, a little bit at least. I mean, it's his livelihood, so it can only be so annoying. That he wants to play the game, but he can't. Because he has to make more videos. He has to put out more content. He has to stay relevant. So the few times he does get to go out to a tournament, he's like super into it. And I'm kind of the reverse of it. My YouTube channel doesn't exactly support me. It's, you know, it's not keeping me going. So I still kind of have time to, like, focus on projects, go to tournaments. Super long shot, because I'm not talking to like 1,000 or 2,000 people watching my stream right now. But if any of you are going to a convention in Oaks, PA, not this weekend, but next weekend, called Too Many Games, there is a tournament being run there by the Banished. So I think a store not far from here. I will be at that tournament on Saturday. I think I'm going to be playing my Knights. I've been trying to get my hands on the Codex so I can get that list together and put it in. And I'm not painting these for that. I'm painting these for future tournaments. I mean, Bo Bishop. Just to be clear with like painting stuff, no one has to paint the lore. I got purple Thousand Suns. It is a great way, though, I agree, to test concepts. Like painting concepts. If you don't plan on playing the army, especially, because I have some really cool looking Votann. Like really cool looking Votann. I don't plan on playing the army, even though I do like them. And honestly, the paint job that I did to them, if I wanted to do it to a 2K worth army, I don't know. I would have lost my mind. But it's definitely fun testing things. Kill Team is great for the tests. I know early on in my YouTube career, I actually had you guys vote, I think, on YouTube for what my color scheme for my my Phobos were going to be. So I've got bright orange Phobos, which I later found out are called the Cosmic Tigers. Which is, in fact, a fan faction. Not a real faction, but looks really cool. Ooh, someone was talking about white armor earlier. And then I started talking about my Votann. Give me a second. I do need to switch to battle reports. Hang on. Someone brought up white armor. Behold, rock and stone. Their little gold heads. This was actually really fun, because this was mostly airbrush. I actually zenithaled it. It started as magenta, and then I did, I want to say like this, like a gray almost, like a light gray, as a top-down zenithal, like a 50-degree zenithal, and then I did white. Straight up top down, just pure titanium white top down. And then what ended up happening is I took contrast paint like Leviathan blue, and anywhere where I was like, oh, it's going to be leather or whatever, I would go over explicitly the white and gray spots with it. This would be my entire Votann army. If I ever finished it. Because then I use teal for the gun casings. I like teal as gun stuff. So here's the thing, just JP. Once this is bulk done, which would be good, and we don't have a lot to go. There's a ton, but there's not a lot. Most of it's already been finished for the last couple weeks, which is good. I've been doing a lot of it off stream. I actually did my other Terminator Sorcerer Lords off stream. Got them updated. Even did the wet on wet cape work. Once this is done, I can get back into my videos. I've had one video with the audio recorded on it for 3 weeks now. I've needed to record a bunch of B-roll, like a ton of B-roll. That's been a very key thing, is that I was supposed to record a ton of B-roll for it. The issue is this table's been just covered this whole time. This is my recording table. No, yeah, I love my green. It's blacklight reactive too. I can go grab my blacklight and show you guys some fun stuff. Just gotta find a power outlet though. Blacklight reactive. It looks even cooler on some of the other ones. Yeah, we have a lot of fun with it. But yeah, I got a video in the works. Specifically, that's all about, you know, measuring tools, tokens, just fun things you could probably buy. To really help you in anything. Like, this is a key thing. It's not just about 40k. It's not just about Kill Team. These are useful tools across the board. Very helpful in almost anything you can do. Tabletop related. Many times vary. These guys were quite quick because of how I ordered them. I think the belts on them were separate, I want to say. Maybe not. Because, like, this was black primer, gold paint, all through airbrush, Acerman blue, which I just took a brush and basically loaded it up and dunked it onto the panels. And then I took Pro Acryl white, did the front, back, those. The gemstones were silver, and then I put this coating, this colored coating over top of them to make them look like gemstones. And then I called it. Probably each one of these, including airbrush and primer time, would have been maybe like 20 minutes. Necessarily. Like, just about 20 minutes probably. But now that we're doing the panel painting slows it down a little bit. Panel painting probably adds about 30-ish to 40-ish minutes. Like 20 to 30 maybe. Like, how long have we been doing this? We've been painting for an hour. I've gotten 3 of them done. I think. No, I've gotten 2 of them done. So it's about extra 30 minutes. Of course, I'm talking to you guys as well. So that adds a little bit for me to stop and check stuff out. Which is perfectly fine. That's why we're here. But contrast paints, it's fine. If you're just looking to get something on the table, doing like white primer into contrast is pretty effective. And then there's some tricks you can do with it to even speed the process up. Like if you start with a specific color you like for an overall feel, and then there's a color when added to that changes it in a way where you're like, I really like this for this part. So there's ways of doing contrast that are very quick. For me, what you're seeing is me, like, I enjoyed the contrast I used here, but now I'm trying to, like, I guess add that, you know, extra year of experience in the form of panel coloring so they stand out a lot more. Because, I mean, like, it's between this and this, right? Like, this is a 1 year difference. And I just like the brightness. Like, this is a change of opinion on how something should look for me. Yeah, and you can slap chop into contrast. If you have an airbrush, you can do like a gray primer into white zenithal, which is just slap chop without needing to slap chop. Although slap chop, one of the benefits of slap chop people don't really talk about is the texture that comes from it. The texture makes things look more worn, more industrial. So you get a little bit better of like a visual aesthetic from slap chop than you would airbrush. Airbrush is very smooth. So if you're liking smooth, then that's usually the better way to go. If you're liking more of that industrial feel, that texture, then slap chop's usually a good way to go. It's all just choice. You can do gray to black, you can do a color to, or you can do gray to white, you can do a color to white. You can do 2 different colors. That's always an option. I can show you the Kroot that I painted. I can hit that with gold in a second. So these are my Kroot. These guys started as dark blue, and then I did pink zenithal. And then this was mostly contrast. I found a really interesting looking green contrast that I did on the bodies. And what the green contrast did is it made the dark areas really dark because of the light blue that we used. And then it made the tops slightly more yellowish orange from the pink. So you get this like more interesting feel like on the face. I think the only areas I hit with layer was the cape. And that was it. Everything else is mostly just contrast. Except maybe skulls. I mean, you always got to work the skulls up to the bone color. I mean, laziness in painting, if it still looks good, that's just you saving time, honestly. Like, every minute I save doing some of the techniques I use is a minute I'm just going to spend on another model. You're talking to a guy who painted, in a year, I painted, let's see. I painted about 4,000 points of Thousand Suns. I painted about 3,000 points of Knights. I painted all of the Season 1 kill teams, most of the Season 2, half of the Season 3. That happened in like 2 years' time. So probably in that 1 year, I did maybe Season 2 and half of Season 3. I painted 2,000 points of Gene Stealer cults. And then I painted 2,000 points of Chaos Demons. And now I have 3,000 points of Emperor's Children. Which contrast? The technique I used, the brand of contrast I used for the Kroot, I used Army Painter contrast for it. Specifically, I think I used Chartreuse. I think it might have been the Chartreuse speed paint that they have for their skin color. Like, seriously, with these, the time I'm saving on these, I'm probably going to have to paint another Tyrant or potentially another Abominant for my Knights. So having the extra time is going to be nice. Because Knights rules seem interesting. I'm interested in playing them. I see the people complaining about it all the time. Oh, my super strong guys are no longer super strong. I prefer playing a team where when my enemy rolls the wound roll, they never get any wounds across like 100 shots. I play this army because I don't want to give my opponent the option to have counterplay. I have tried I've tried to color shift paint and a lot of different things. I painted my buddy's Grey Knight kill team back when, you know, the compendium was a thing in the last overarching season. So what I did with his army was I painted them platinum and then I hit them with a blue-purple shifter. You still see the platinum, like the platinum metallic, but then the blue-purple shifter looks almost like a rim light, so it looks like it's kind of like a magical aura on the armor. So that was pretty cool. I use a lot of shifters on my demons. The way I do it, though, is a little different than I think some people expect. So when I start a demon, I get its base colors on, which is usually some form of zenithal. Like, I'll do, like, purple on a Lord of Change, like fluorescent purple, and then I'll do white into fluorescent blue from a zenithal. Then I'll hit it with purple to blue shifter. Then I hit it with a layer of, like, teal blue that's flat, so that the shadows are blue to purple, fluorescent, with shifter. So the shadows feel like shifting. You kind of see, like, weird color changes in the shadows. Show demon. Gotta pay for my only demons for that, sir. Let me go grab one. Hang on. Which demon do I show? Actually, these were a couple fun shifter things, and I might need to add to this a little bit now that I've got my pigment powder. This is the Purple Son of Shyish. It's done using a purple and blue shifter, as you can easily see while I spin it. All fluorescent paint. I gotta put yellow pigment down here. I could do that now. Yeah. What I do is sometimes when there's like energy and stuff like this, I'll apply pigment powder down there. So it just looks like a spraying of like color. But yeah, this is the Purple Sun. This little skull face. And you can catch it. Like, you catch the blue to purple shifter on it. Normally what you're supposed to do... Oh, thank you, viewers. Normally what you're supposed to do with shifter is you do glossy black. Like, if you hit a surface with glossy black paint, you apply the shifter to that. Because the gloss light, like the glossy lighting that's normally just white, that's where the shifter really shines. You'll see a lot of people who play Sylvaneth, I think, in AOS. The ones with the beetles. They'll paint the beetles glossy black, then they'll hit it with a shifter. So it looks kind of like that oil slick beetle look. But for me, my shifter really played in with the Mutalis. Because we kind of did Mutalis in a way where I was like, all right, this one will be purple to dark blue. And then we'll hit it with overall shifter. We'll do the shifter as yellow to, I want to say purple was the shifter. Because the energy color for him was going to be yellow-orange. It can depend on shifter paint. It can. It's a little bit specific. The shifter I really want is shifter that would be flat. Like, that's the kind of shifter I'm really looking for, is one where you could paint a flat panel of it, and then it looks sort of like shiny metallic blue, and then it becomes shiny metallic, like, whatever, in the side angles. But I think you actually have to, like, electroplate that. I can't remember. It's like a special type of thing. So we did him as blue to purple. This one is purple to magenta. Of course, we did crackle paste around his feet and did the energy color that he is like him turning the sands into his glass. This one I think I need to redo the energy for, because this one is not fluorescent on the energy like the rest of mine. And then the last one we did was orange to purple. Same thing, orange-purple shifter for this one, and then magenta energy, green crystallization. So just a boatload of fun colors. Kind of how it panned out. Yes. I play Mutant Herd. So I'm in the US. Do I love Neon? Neon, who is it? Heresy for Heretics, I think, is the YouTube channel. He loves Neon as well. It's Grim Neon, baby. It's how we roll. I just love how it looks. But I play in the US, and when I was getting into Thousand Suns, the Games Workshop website said, hey man, Mutal Vortex Beasts sold out. I went to my local game store and I was like, do you guys have like a different vendor than that you get your stuff from? Maybe you have it. They looked into it and yeah, they had them, because apparently there is like a separation, at least at that time, of warehouses between local stores and Games Workshop. I don't know if that's still the case. I don't know how that works. So I ordered one Mutalith Vortex Beast, and I was so happy to get it. And then I looked at its rules, and I was like, wow, this is one of the coolest freaking things in the Thousand Sons army. I want to buy 2 more, and I think I'm going to try to use all 3 of them in a game. Sold out. I apparently bought the last one in the local warehouse, and they were sold out for a year and a half. Behold. I'd go on eBay, I'd type in Mutalith Vortex Beast, and I would either find one fully assembled for $100 more than it normally costs, or the Magic the Gathering card for the crossover event between Games Workshop stuff and Magic the Gathering. Pick your poison. I also have Emperor's Children. Oh, you want to talk Neon. Oh, shit. What was that? Okay. You guys seem new. Let me go grab an Emperor's Children model. I lost the tournament so hard that they gave me my money back. And when I was leaving, I looked around to see if I wanted to buy anything for my Emperor's Children. And I noticed that they had Sigvald. And Sigvald was the price he was like 5 years ago. He was like $40. Or no, he was like $50, but they had a discount as well running for the people who played in the tournament. So I got him for $40. I had a spare set of Demon Wings. Demon Prince with wings. Emperor's Children. Fully blacklight reactive. Anything pink in the sword. This is how every single one of my Emperor's Children models are painted, by the way. Pink underglow eating into their armor, which ends up being purple into non-metallic gold. And then all their guns are or all their weaponry, that's usually like a sword or something, is either platinum or molten. Yep. I think I painted all my Emperor's Children in a month. Like 3,000 points of Emperor's Children, including the Horus Heresy Fulgrim, which I had to increase the base size of. Damn, that's pink. Yep, it's fluorescent pink from High Flow, and then I even added, and this really does push the fluorescence a lot. Once it's done drying, I gotta try to get this out of here. Here we go. I add actual pink fluorescent. This is This is pigment powder. Normally, it's meant for fingernails or 3D prints. You're supposed to add it in with resin for 3D print stuff. But I just, tack it on. Yes, as it. You're gonna make me grab them, aren't you? Hang on. best viewers at Streamboo. Where the hell is Broshi? I can't put that on Broshi. Glass half dead! What's up, man? But yeah, these are all acrylic. This is all acrylic painted. Super fun. I figured the vibrancy of my Emperor's Children army would serve as a tactical benefit, as it is very hard for people to look at tournaments. I mean, we're talking these are people who don't look at the, they don't go outside. They don't go to the sun. They live in darkness. So I bring the sun to them. No, it doesn't work. I'm still trying to get a good grasp on my Emperor's Children. I've had 2 games played as them that I blew out my opponent. But then I go to a tournament and I get blown out every single game. Dude, my region sucks so much for, like, learning. It's, like, not necessarily learning, I guess. It's good for people who are really aiming to go for the top. Within my region, there's at least, like, from every 40k faction, there's one person in the top 20 that lives within an hour of me. And I kind of hate it. Because, like, I live in an area where sweating is the natural, right? It doesn't feel like sweat to these people because it's just what everyone does. What's cool is they're not crazy about it. The things that anger them in gameplay, the things that make them do that whole, like, oh, what are you doing kind of situation, is usually if you're not doing something that's scoring you the most points. Like, that's where they get, like, a little irked at you because they feel like you're not, you know, meeting the level of gameplay that they were at least kind of hoping for. They're mad when, at the end of a game, you should have had 10 more points. And maybe they should have had 10 less. Like, that's what gets a lot of the people around here a little bit off. It's a weird thing. It's a weird concept. It's like, ah. But yeah, sometimes when I'm not completely burned out, my Emperor's Children will blow someone out. And then if I am burned out, I pretty much just enjoy the 50 to 99 point loss. That's what I hear. Thousand Sun ones are just do a ritual. Dance a little jig. Supposedly the local store I go to is going to try to do a crusade, but we're at that point now where we don't know if it's going to happen. The guy that runs the store was actually holding off on doing events because he assumed we were going to do a crusade. But now it's been 2 months with no in-store events. So he decided to do a combat patrol tournament, which is just a long-running event, not like a one-off event. It's based on the amount of games played, win rates, stuff like that. It's actually how I netted these bad boys. Kill Team Store Champ, Kill Team Store Champ. I think 2 years. The Kill Team ones were cool, but like the sad one, at least for me, for now, was the Underworlds one. Because this was the last tournament before they rebooted it. The amount of people in the local area who were all over Underworlds, like they loved the hell out of Underworlds. And then the reboot occurred, and people were kind of hyped about it. Some of the rules seemed like it would be a little bit more lethal than what it was before. And there was just a little bit more interest. But like once it dropped and people really started playing it, interest vanished. I have not found a game locally for Underworld since the reboot. It's kind of sad. It was so fun. And I have so many teams that I painted up so beautifully that are now just in a box, never to come out. I mean, we could get an Emperor's Children kill team at some point. I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon, though. Emperor's Children are definitely primed for a kill team. Specifically the, like, this is a new thing kill team. Kind of like how the Votan Jaegers were. But I think most likely the next couple of kill teams we're going to get are just going to be like squad rehashes. The system we're seeing though is one squad that's new and then one rehash squad, like one update squad. Still holding out for that Grey Knight squad, which is just going to be like one Grey Knight big guy and then like a bunch of little neophyte units. I don't even care if that makes it to 40k. That'd be awesome. I wonder if they could run that like Hyrotech, right? Where the big character in the squad is an actual character you could run as an attachable character in the army itself, and then you just have like neophytes. And that's the actual squad that's maybe getting like a rehash or a reboot, is just some light armored Grey Knights. I don't know about a T-Suns team, though. I don't know if we're going to get a T-Suns team after the Warp Coven get pulled from competitive. Supposedly still playable, but I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get a different one. It'll just be on the players who run the Zangor. I think it's like the Zangor converted team to look like Felgor. That'll be T-Suns going forward. for competitive play. Which, as a mutant herd player, I'm all about. Oh, he's been here for a while. And yeah, I think a ton of people are hoping for Grey Knights at this point. Now that Tyranids are done, right? We made it. We lived. We lived long enough to see another Tyranid kill team. Now we just need to do it again for Grey Knights. And then maybe demons. Which would be the ideal box. I don't know of a single person in the world right now who would be like, Grey Knights versus demons box. That sounds terrible. I mean, you got the new baby Bjorn. There's your refresh. My friend used to love the Grey Knights. My friend, back when me and my friends were playing 40k heavily before we stopped and then came back eventually, Grey Knights were released. That was a big one for my buddy because Grey Knights cost so much in points that we actually made it so I think he had 2 squads of Grey Knights, and that was like a 2k army back then, or whatever the standard tournament number was. It was just 2 squads of Grey Knights. Back when they were pewter, and they all weighed like 2 pounds each. Thought my friend was going to play Grey Knights when we came back to it, but he decided to switch it up to Custodes. He likes Hyper Elite. He's always loved Hyper Elite. Honestly, though, if we could get a Custodes kill team and have it just be like a new type of Sisters of Silence squad, I'd be cool with that. Like, you could make it durable, but still have it be 2 APL, and then you could run, like, 8 Sisters of Silence models or something. It would almost be like Hearthkin, but melee. That would be pretty poggers. Oh, thank you. We've got... actually, I think 15 to go. Of the 25 I started with. And then back on to the final 20 rubrics, and then I think that's it. I am listening to music actually right now. The issue is, the last time I did that on YouTube, even using the YouTube free music in the background, I still got hit with strikes because some of the free music they have is sampled from actual music. And the actual music comes after you. Just saying. So what we've got going on right now is if you watch on Twitch, you can have my playlist playing in the background, since I can separate that audio. And it doesn't go into the VOD, so I don't get yelled at.
Poggers.
But if you're over here on YouTube, you can toss on your own playlist. I'm currently listening to Lo-Fi Dark Fantasy. Wait, how'd you get the pre-order now? Someone cancel and you caught it? This guy done. I feel like he's... Oh, no. See, the problem with that is sometimes they still go after you. Sometimes. Some video game music is okay, but not all video game music is okay. I work as an editor for a major-esque YouTube channel. And a lot of the people we work with, they try to get around it as best they can, usually using video game music, because video game music is usually open. Some of them explicitly do Nintendo music, because since Nintendo games are supposed to be pretty easy to show on YouTube, I think most of the music in them is just designed, or at least written in as like okay to play on YouTube for free. But even the people I know that do it, they play it really softly. Oh, so a store held off. Nice. I am debating figuring out a playlist for YouTube, because there is some music that plays on the back end of YouTube for the free forever type situation that doesn't get picked up by strikes. But I'm not going to lie, I started losing my mind. We were maybe 2 months into doing that normally, and it was just the same songs over and over and over again. And I don't know. I don't know much longer I could have taken that. I think he's cool. This one didn't get the green change, though. I think this one and this one... I gotta keep these separate, I feel. Because we're gonna have to do the green across all of them. I was hoping my local game store would have put the Chaos Knights Codex out early. They accidentally put out the Emperor's Children stuff early, which is how I got my Cacophonists early on, which was nice. Oh, AC working overtime. It's like 90 degrees out. I had to run an errand in my car. My car was like, yo, it's 105. Thanks, black leather seats. But yeah, the problem with, in general for me, the problem with music on YouTube is at any point in time, if you listen to songs, even if the back end of YouTube doesn't care about the music at the time, there's always the, I guess the long-running warning of what happened with Maximilian Dude, where he had this running series he did with a ton of music he purchased through a website to be able to use for his videos. So it all seemed on the up and up. But eventually what happened was a company came along, purchased the rights to all the music that was on the channel he used, and then immediately struck him with like huge problems. Almost took his channel away. That's why I'm always a little iffy on any music, because at any point in time, I mean, it might not be that big of a deal to just pull down old streams on YouTube and just be like, well, that's the end of that. But I'd rather just not care, right? That's why I kind of wish YouTube had the dual audio setup, just like Twitch does. Because then you guys could at least listen to it now. And then the VOD would just be dead silent. Which is fine. Because again, in my day job of editing for another YouTuber, he wanted me to use this song from Ben Sound. It's one of those like online channel website things that does free songs and then songs you can license. He found a song on one. He was like, this is going to be our song. This is what's the theme's going to be. Use this. I told him like this was not a smart idea. At any point in time, someone could buy the rights and screw us over. And he was like, nah, it'll be fine. I think year 3 of editing, we suddenly got like struck with all the episodes we had put out for like ever. He was like, I don't know what's happening. I was like, exactly what I told you was going to happen. Patent troll bought some rights, and now you have to pay someone money. Is what it is. Thanks for everyone that popped out today, though. I went live expecting my usual, like, 3 viewers. To see, like, a bunch of people almost immediately show up. Kind of cool. Has anyone looked into the Chaos Knight stuff? Anyone find any fun list ideas? I'm trying to field a Tyrant. I have played too many games involving uppy-downy armies to not want to field a Tyrant. In all honesty, I want to field 2 Tyrants, but I only have the 1. So I'm trying to think of a good list. I think one of the detachments allows you to take... It's the one that lets you choose every time you get a new enhancement for, like, the dark stuff. You get to choose one if you want. And I think that might be the way to go. Because I think I want to run a Tyrant. Part of me wants to run a Castigator still. I really like my Castigator. And all this talk recently of like, oh, they're going to Legends the Castigators and all that type of... Oh my god. I kind of get it because they are Horus Heresy boxed and they're not 40k boxed. And I know they've done that to the bulk of the Horus Heresy models from 40k. Like, I really wish I still had access to my Osiris Dreadnought. Come on, Psychic Dreadnought. But it has me so worried. I put so much time into that Castigator, man. It felt like it was going to stick around because these were like brand new to plastic. They were really hyping up the whole like, yeah, you can do them in 40k and Horus Heresy. And now everyone's like, they're getting Legend. They're going to be Legends like tomorrow. It's like, dude, what? I love my Castigator. He's so cool. It's my Thousand Suns Castigator. But maybe I end up just doing the Abominant. Abominants are still one of the cheaper large ones. I'm kind of debating doing 2 of them, which means I would need to pick up another box. If I could find an Abominant box, I'd be happy. I don't really want to spend the extra money to purchase the Ruinator. I'm not really interested in the Ruinator. My direct local store only has the Questoris, the double box for the larger ones, and then I think the Flamer one? Like the Flamer variant? And then I think one other Castigator. These are the moments where I get worried that chat crashed. But then I remember it's 3 o'clock. Dude, 3 p.m. East Coast is quite literally the everyone kind of stops moment in time. It's mildly impressive. It makes me kind of want to like work through it. Just like quietly chug away. Welcome back then, Jay. I need to see if the store near me. No, yeah, but like 3 p.m. I think is... It's like a weird time for a lot of people. It's got to be like lunch for some time zones. It's got to be dinner for some time zones. It's got to be driving home from work for some time zones. Like 3 is just an odd time. Let me check to see if my local store is going to be open tomorrow. The owner is sick. There's apparently been a upper respiratory infection thing going around. So still closed today. Hasn't said anything about it being better. I was gonna try to go tomorrow to get a game in. Not necessarily with my knights because the codex isn't out and this is an official Games Workshop store. They kind of don't want you to be there with stuff that shouldn't be released yet, playing the game. Even though the points are out now. So my plan tomorrow was to go play another game as my mutant herd. Maybe a combat patrol as my Thousand Sons. You know, whatever. Get my codex on Saturday. Hang out with my friends. Supposedly we're doing a game night tomorrow. Supposedly. I haven't heard anything otherwise. It's usually down to whether or not one of them just calls out. Coliseum game type. Is that in the new cards? I haven't looked at that yet. With the new cards, I've mostly looked at what the cards are, which I really like that most of the cards are just exactly what they used to be. But some of them are reworded and retooled. I am a little disappointed that the reactionary play missions seem to be a lot less. I know the competitive community seemed a little annoyed that there were reactionary-based side missions. But honestly, I kind of really wish those still existed. The best I've ever felt playing a game of 40k was when my opponent with a squad of gargoyles tried to sabotage a piece of terrain in the middle of the field. And then I flew my Helldrake into them and killed them, preventing it from happening at all. Like, that just felt great. I had him stuck for, I think, 2 turns trying to sabotage things. And now that a lot of those missions, like recover assets and stuff, are just like, oh yeah, it ends at the end of your turn. It's like, well, that sucks. Now I can't counter it at all. They made Marked for Death easy. Well, easy-esque. They gave it a baby, which, baby mode, Marked for Death, probably a good idea. Like, let's be real. That one definitely needed a baby mode. Wait a second. No toughness over 9. Must have 2. Where is this that you speak of, Coliseum mode? Is this in the cards? 500 points mode? Oh, play on okay. Okay. Because that does sound cool. A lot of what you're saying is what we were actually hoping the 1,000-point game rules were going to be. So much of us were at the store talking about, like, what would make a good 1,000-point mode, and it was literally no special characters. Right? No special characters. Like a maximum toughness. I think there was one that was like no one unit can be worth more than a quarter of the total points for a game or something. So you couldn't just have like a 500 point unit. Or no, quarter. It was like you couldn't have a 250 point unit or something. So we had all these like fun ideas, and we were like, man, I can't wait to see what they do with it. Maybe they'll actually they'll make 1,000-point games like worthwhile to play, to get used to like smaller units and, you know, understand your chaff better, because that's a big thing that most of the new players at our store don't understand, is how to use your chaff, because their entire focus is on having like 10 really big units. And then that's it. And then you just have to use your big units. So when you get the mission that's like, hey, perform an action, you get a little pissed off because you can't perform the action. Because all you have left are like 2 big units, and if you don't kill my model, I'm going to table you in turn 3. And they just get really sad. So having people get used to chaff, very important. My mutation herd doesn't use epic heroes. It has a couple things, actually a handful of things that are over T9 though. But yeah, Mutant Herd, all about that low toughness, big, hoardy style army system. I'm definitely super happy with it. I have to just get used to the mechanics, though. I have to get used to when to do the -1 to wound. That's like the big thing. If you're saying you're shooting at me with a bunch of strength 4 weapons, but like they have lethal hit, I don't think I do the -1 to wound. Unless I know you have a ton of stuff coming after that. But if it's just like, oh yeah, I got this one squad of bolters with lethal hits, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna apply mortals to myself. You're just gonna lethal hit me and it's over. I honestly think the bow and lighten go up 20 points a pop for the squads, like base level squads and large size. I think large size might still be less expensive. Like they're not going to be plus 40. They'll probably be like plus 30 or something. It's either that or they're completely fine with it. Because they're not... At hitting on 4s, they're not great. And then the trick with them is because of how they work, it sort of leans you into needing to purchase other units for points. So, like, every single one of those squads you get, you're pretty much going to want an Exalted. So, like, that's kind of the tax, is you want an Exalted. If anything, they should just lower the points for the spear wielders. Spear wielders are just super garbage. Like, not even worth the points. Not even for, like, scoring. You'd much rather take Chaos Spawn for that. Since Chaos Spawn can go through walls and are not susceptible to anti-infantry or anti-fly. Because I do like that the Enlightened are good at, like, mass chipping across the field. Like, their chip damage is awesome. But I don't know. It's also not enough. Most of them are just used for screening, if anything else. And by applying a sorcerer into the squad, you're also making it so that that entire squad has to stay within 2 inches of 2 other models. Because now the squad's a 7 instead of a 6. Whereas if it was a 6, you could spread it out. And do much better for screening. So there's a bit of, like, back and forth there. Give and take. But yeah, if anything's getting a hit, it's going to be the Zangor Enlightened with bows. Although 90% of the points alterations and changes, to my understanding, with like how it feels every time it occurs, is based exclusively off of a ton of people use this model. And now that we've hit like market saturation for the model, let's make it not as valuable on the tabletop. Let's make people rethink wanting to take 3 squads of it or whatever. And now put the value somewhere else. Because even though there were a few Thousand Suns players back in the Index days who actively recognized the power of Zangor Enlightened on like a strategic level, there were still a ton of people who were like, you don't want to take them. And now they're just must-takes. On almost every detachment, they're a must-take. I'd even consider them in phalanx. Like, there's no reason not to, right? They're super cheap, great at screening. It allows your rubrics and terminators to work the front lines. Yeah, they're mostly less accurate noise marines without like the big cannon. The big gun. I think there's enough armies that have weirdly cheap range damage that I don't know if they would knock the Zangors down, or knock the Zangor points up too much, rather. They'd probably hold off. I definitely feel like most of the teams playing right now, though, in big tournaments and playing well, are definitely abusing Zangor Enlightened with bows. So that factor alone could probably be the reason why the Zangors get hit with a points hike. I feel like from the tournaments I've watched, MVBs are performing about at what you would expect. They're scary, they have the brawler potential, but usually by turn 3 they're all dead. Regardless of whether you're playing Mutant Herd or just regular old Cabal or just whatever you're playing, your MVB's decent for 2 turns. Dead in turn 3. Like, the end of the game for Mutant Herd that I've seen, like, the end game system is usually 2 squads of 10 Zangors left, maybe 1 squad of Enlightened moving around the outside. But if they're a vehicle hybrid, all their vehicles are dead. If they're pure mutant, all their MVBs definitely dead. And it sort of just becomes that hope that in the first 3 turns of the game you've outrun their score, and that's it. I do have a feeling that there's going to be a bunch of Death Guard at this upcoming tournament. It's kind of weird with all the talk of how Mortarian's hammer is supposed to be like almost impossible to break through. I have not seen many Death Guard players locally, and my local area has been big on Death Guard for a long time now. But at this tournament, I think there's probably going to be a couple. Because there's a lot of, like, outside the region people that come in. It's like one of the few times I actually get to experience certain Xenos armies. Maybe we go the tank faction for Thousand Suns. Maybe that's the route. Maybe that's the play. I just keep spending 1 command point every phase to turn one of my vehicles into Malevolence. Just send it in. Hurl it downfield. Just a Malevolent Mauler Fiend. What's that? You're gonna make me -1 to hit? Well, my Mauler Fiend's malevolent, so no. I'm fully swinging on you, full damage. No minuses. No negatives, no debuffs. I mean, still, Thousand Suns don't get any real buffs in melee outside of that. I wish we had a +1 or a reroll for the melee phase. That wasn't just a command point. For the command reroll function. Like, we need that little bit of extra something in melee. I think the only thing I get in Mutant Herd is the ability to do a 6-inch pile-in and consolidate. as well as a 3-inch range for being considered base to base in engagement. The vehicle detachment seems good. It seems good, and I have a lot of vehicles to pull from to like make it worthwhile, I think. The thing is, my little conversions I have for the Psychret robots are not done. I keep looking at them and I keep not liking them. So this is a bad sign for this conversion we did that we spent like 2 days working on. I keep looking at them and I keep going like, maybe I buy the actual robots when they drop, and it's like, oh, that's a bad feeling. I just dumped so much money into these 6 things that are sitting over here, and to be like, let's just get the actual robots. It's like, oh, that's not good. That's not good. Maybe if I get some actual paint on them, I'll feel better. All they need to do is last till the end. At least like the reroll one. If you want to make it so the +1 to hit that the Sorcerer Lord puts out lasts until the end of the shoot phase, it's like, alright, that's fine, whatever. But the rerolls, man. Give me access to the rerolls in the melee phase. We don't have good melee as it is. But like even Scarab Occult Terminators with lethal hits are scary with rerolls. Like full rerolls. That's how you fish for the melee damage. You triple up your cast on the reroll potential, get full rerolls, and run in with a squad of Terminators, fish for lethals. There you go. Not only that, but in the Demon Detachment, the fact that like the rerolls and everything are for Thousand Suns only is insane. Like I can't even do full rerolls for the like weird bolt that the big guy uses. Oh, Terminators. Yeah, triple carnivore. There's our melee. Grab the book here. Yeah, if your army is Thousand Suns, each time a Thousand Suns model from your army makes an attack, targets a unit, reroll hit roll of 1. If psych test 10, you can reroll the hit roll instead. And until the end of the phase. That's fine. I might need to get water. Nope, I got water. Okay, we're good. Oh, delicious hydration. Yeah, I don't know how to make the Demon Detachment work outside of my dumb idea that doesn't work. I guess the entire hope and focus is on using blue horrors to just stop people from getting to you. And then just having rubrics standing on objectives. I don't know what else to do with these guys. Warp Forged Cabal, though. Each time a Thousand Suns vehicle unit from your army is selected to shoot or fight, apply one of the following. If this vehicle unit is within 6 inches of one or more friendly psychers, you can reroll 1 hit, 1 wound, and 1 damage. And then if not within psycher, you can reroll 1 of each, but like only 1 of them, not 1 of all potentialities. Each time a 1,000 Suns vehicle unit from your army with a deadly demise is destroyed, you can make it a 5-up instead of a 6 for the explosion. But the Psyker has to be within 6, which means the Psyker is going to take the explosion. Super fun. While bear is within 6 inches of one or more friendly 1,000 Suns vehicle after the channel of the warp, after you roll an additional d6, but before checking for doubles or triples, the bearer can use this unit. The vehicle unit the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, select one of those vehicle units to suffer 1 mortal wound and can reroll that additional d6. Okay. So you just get a reroll for 1 wound. That's not good, though. While the bear is within 3 inches of one or more friendly 1,000 Suns vehicle, get Lone Op. It's always a classic. You would want to 100% put that on something. I just don't know what. I genuinely don't know what you would put that on. It's got to be infantry, but disc users are infantry. I feel like you could perplexing cloak an exultant on disc in a squad, giving him the 18-inch lone op, but then if something gets within 18 inches and kills his squad, he's still lone op, but that sounds like, it just sounds dumb. You'd probably want to go with like a sorcerer or something, just like a straight up sorcerer. If something gets close, he can just overcharge and nuke it. Biomechanical, you can select one friendly 1,000 Suns vehicle within 6 inches of the model regains up to D3 lost wounds. This is where probably the Exalted on disc. Yeah, this is where an Exalted on disc with an Enlightened squad on your back line would be good. Because then he gets the 18-inch lone op, and he can heal D3 lost wounds to attack within 6 inches. It's just nice. While the sun is within 6 inches, each time the bear manifests a ritual, or resolving the ritual, add 6 to its attack, or add 6 to its range. That's pretty good. Again, that feels like another Exalted on disc in a squad with Zangors for the lone op. Opponent shooting phase. Fight phase. This area is selected. 1,000 Suns vehicle, unit from your army, target of attacks. Is this increase armor or is the reduced penetration of the attack? This is a specific wording. I don't know if this is the same as Armor of Contempt, which might mean you could use it and then have it persist for the phase, because Armor of Contempt in particular is the one, according to the balance sheet, that gets screwed over. Stratagems that worsen armor pen. Stratagem effect says until the end of phase, each time attack targets unit worsen armor pen by 1. That effect is changed to say until the attack has finished. So yeah, this is worsening armor pen, so this is only a once per overall sequence. Not whole phase. 1,000 Sun Psyker unit from your army within... Oh, this is the one where you get to paint an objective to be controlled by you, and then if anyone stands on it on a 4+, they take D3 mortals. I like the Imperial Knights one that actually gives an OC rating to the objective of like 8. You have to beat 8 or it won't flip. That's so crazy to me. That vehicle unit from one friendly 1,000 Sun Psyker unit within 6 inches of that vehicle unit. Until the end of the turn, the vehicle unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. That's not bad. That's like, what? I feel like you want at least one Defiler in Warpforged Cabal, because the Defiler is the one that can get 4+ Overwatch on all of its guns. And I have kind of a defiler. I need the base for it because I don't want to just be like, this is him. But the problem is the base is 160, which means it is very hard to move him around the field. $1,000 Suns vehicle unit from your army, 6 inches, one or more friendly 1,000 Suns Psyker. This is the big one. Until the start of your next command phase, your vehicle is considered malevolent. While a unit is malevolent, it can ignore any or all modifiers to the following profile characteristics of the model: its weapon skill, its ballistic skill, of the weapons equipped by it, any roll or test made for it, excluding modifiers to saving throws. Any roll or test made for it. It says excluding modifiers to saving throws, which means armor pen still matters. If that wasn't there, Malevolent would be one of the most horrifying concepts in the entire game. Because I would just have a Hellbrute constantly be Malevolent. Good luck getting through its permanent 2+ save. Like, fire your railguns at him. I'm still rolling 2s, baby. That would be horrifying. But then it's any rolls or tests made for it, so you can't modify its leadership, you can't modify its hit or wound rolls. $1,000 Suns vehicle unit from your army that's within 6 inches of one or more friendly psychers. Each, until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by the vehicle has psychic ability and adds 1 to the wound roll. Oh, Jesus. That's where my, that's where my frickin' Vindicator comes in. Just pops through a wall. Suddenly psychic with +1 to wound rolls. Shazam! Or even the Predator with las cannons. It's perfect for that. +1 to wound rolls on las cannons in the current state of the game. Most of the stuff that shoots at is always wounding on 2s. Your opponent's charge phase. Just after enemies charge. 1,000 Suns vehicle unit from your army with an engagement range. Oh yeah! This gives you reverse tank shock. I completely forgot about reverse tank shock. I don't even know what one of these lists would look like. I feel like you need the Sectar robots. I would probably run 3 squads of 2. Just to, like, toss them places. You know, just hiding in corners. You definitely take a Predator. I would probably want more than 1 Predator, if I'm being real. Which means, depending on when and where I get my Codex, if I still have the $75 gift card to my other store after I get the Codex, I might just grab a second Predator. I feel like 2 Predators in any 1,000 Suns army is really good. Of either variant, honestly. The las cannon one's probably best. But there is a lot of value in taking that autocannon one. Because the autocannon, I think it's like plus strength into infantry units on top of like the already existing anti-infantry benefit it really gets. I could see myself taking Ahriman in my tank army, but I don't know. I don't think I need that. Not even for the 3 redeploys. Although, tossing the Sector robots into mid to prevent infiltrate, and then if the enemy army doesn't really have, like, scout. I could easily see pulling the robots back. But then why? Why would I pull the robots back at that point? It's so hard moving vehicle-based armies that don't have go-through-wall rules. Just around any kind of terrain. So to not leave the sectors in good forward positions is just a bad idea. They feel like the squads that need to be in like the Magic Dorito 1-inch off wall. Magic Dorito. Honestly might take these guys over to my friend's house tomorrow. We can do game night, but then when it's time to just like chill out and not do anything, I might just bust out my Terminators in blue paint and go. What's up, Phoenix? Got a phone call. Hang on.
Poggers.
What up, Phoenix? I had to take a phone call there. How goes it? We're in the process of working up all of my old Thousand Suns, giving them an updated visual aesthetic. Now that the new codex is out, and I kind of want to do that. Still waiting on my my Tabletop Stronghold box. I was really hoping to get in the last couple days to put together. I don't even think I've gotten shipping confirmation. I've only gotten confirmation of the sale at this point. I'm a little worried. Working on any projects, checking stuff out. You a fan of Thousand Suns, or you got your own army? Let's try to do some. Let's do a social experiment and actually talk to each other. It's gonna be just as uncomfortable for me as it will be for you. I hope the store owner feels better tomorrow. I really want to try to get a game in. Nice. Emperor's Children is my other army. Speaking of which, I think the plastic and stuff is out. Should probably put it away. Behold. My hyper vibrant Fulgrim. It's the same color scheme for the entire army, just the bright pinks. Do love me some Emperor's Children, but there is not a lot to collect of them right now. I got a ton of it, though. I think I can go to like 2,500 or 3,000 points at this point. But yeah, my Thousand Suns collection, fairly big. Bret Hart paint scheme. I read that and my brain immediately went to like WWE for some reason. Which is correct. So yeah, just the pink black, like neon pink black. Are you gonna try to do the are you try to make it look like, what is that? That like stretchy material that's kind of vibrant metallic? You gonna get like a rose silver to put over it? I feel like you'd have to mix the rose silver. It's probably not an easy color to just emulate. Yeah, good luck. It certainly fits the Emperor's Children. Should look great. I know AEW, I believe, does like their cosplay nights where people come out kind of wearing outfits based on things they like. How baller would that be with someone to like walk out looking like like not transfigured Fulgrim, just like long flowing white hair, heavy magenta-ish armor, like pink purple with gold trim, the giant eagle wing. Hear the shoutcaster just be like, he seeks perfection in all things. I'm going to mute my mic for a second. My mom made sourdough. Oh, hang on. Yep, my mom made sourdough. Because she took a class. She was like, I'm going to learn to make sourdough. We can just bake sourdough. And then she found out what you have to do to make sourdough. She was like, this is going to be the only loaf of sourdough I make. That is it after this moment. It's pretty good. Oh. Hopefully I can figure out a good list for my Chaos Nights before this tournament next weekend. Oh, it'll be nice. Won't have to think a lot. The Thousand Suns collecting is gonna take a while. If you didn't grab the battle box that was coming out for the Codex release, oof, The battle boxes for all the armies have been fantastic purchases so far. They've all been like very effective for how much you get. Yeah. Part of the good luck I need is for my own sanity. This is a 2K tournament. It is 2.5 hour rounds, which is like the fastest tournament ever. The last time I did this, the final round was ending right as the convention was closing for the day. That was insane. The fact that they kind of let it go that long. Like, they were trying to read out the winners as the security was coming over to us to be like, you guys got to get out of here. like that was nuts. There should be a Black Templar battle box, or did they just announce the codex and say that there is no battle box? It's not going to be awesome. Like, it's not going to be as crazy as like the Space Wolves one, but you should be getting one. Because you should be getting something, right? I'm playing Chaos Knights for this tournament. Because I want to be able to get through, like, 5 rounds per game. And the other issue is, the last time I ran this tournament, or the last time, rather, I went to this tournament, every table had 2 pieces of terrain for each deployment zone, and that was it. It was like small pieces of terrain too. Like, it wasn't big buildings. It was quite literally something this big. Like, you had 2 of these in your base, and you had to fit your whole army behind it, if possible. There were 3 Imperial Guard players and 1 Tau player, all of whom got into the top 3. Let me tell you why. They all rolled to go first. Can't score if your opponent's got nothing on the field. Well, you're just gonna sit there and be like, cool. Let me move my tank up to the middle of the field because you don't have anything. And I'm just going to get the points for being in middle. That's cool. Victory condition. The Imperial Guard players I fought against all got first for their initiatives. The only one I beat had a Baneblade, which meant he only had 1 target that mattered for scoring. So I killed his scoring tank that he was roaming around the field with. That was the first thing I killed. And then I managed, through sheer luck and command point usage, to have Magnus survive 3 rounds of shooting from the Baneblade. The -1 to damage potential, alongside the blanking of a single damage dice. And that was it. That was how I survived for that first game and beat him. Didn't work out so much for the second game. The second game, the guy managed to have way more guns than that first guy. Shooting phase took an hour. The first opening shooting phase took about an hour. Magnus survived on 2 wounds. I really wanted to tell the guy to stop rolling the way he was rolling, because what he was doing was actually not good for him. Not only that, but the rules explicitly say that you can roll all of the same thing if you want, and then to roll like stuff later. Because you have to complete the cycle of a single dice roll, right? This is kind of the trick with the game. A single dice roll has to go from, you know, start to finish, hit, wound, save, before the next one. quick rolling allows for multiples of these, and there's ways to sort of divvy it out, and that's awesome. But what this guy did, he had a bunch of multicolored dice. So he would go, all right, the blue dice is the las cannon, or whatever it was. Like, he would just color code all of the guns on his tank and then shoot. And this was a mistake, because I have damage blanking, and if I see that your las cannons hit me before anything else, I'm gonna blank your las cannons. Because, like, if you're handing me all of your shots in sequence, and I have full knowledge of what you're doing, I am immediately rolling the invulnerable save for your las cannon. And if I fail that invulnerable save, I'm immediately blanking it. And then we'll see what happens with, like, your plasma cannons and auto cannons. But by that point, we were already like 20 minutes into round 1 for a 2.5 hour long game. And I was like, look, he wants to screw himself over. Fine. I'll let it happen. Still lost to him, though, because I can't... Like, he just sat on the other side of the board. I couldn't do anything. I scored the points that I could, and then he just, you know, existed. Got points in mid because I couldn't stop it. Is what it is. I kind of want a mutant herd because I've been practicing a lot with the Thousand Suns mutant herd, but that's a horde army. And horde armies at short tournaments do not feel good to play. Kind of surprised. It's a 3-day convention that these guys are running this tournament at, and they only want to do it in 1 day. I honestly wonder what would happen if they went, hey everyone, Friday is round 1 and 2, Saturday is round 3, and round 3 is going to be like 4 hours. Like, you're going to get a lot of time for round 3. Army Painter, Crystal Blue. The trick is, we're applying it over top of a Asserman Blue contrast paint that we applied directly on top of the gold. Since Asserman Blue is a contrast, it fills the panel and goes edge to edge and then sort of leaves a dark exterior color stain that you can kind of see on the back of his head. So it's sort of like we pre-shadered it. Because with me going in with the blue, I'm not really aiming to get edge to edge. I'm more aiming to get in the middle. I don't need to get serious with the close to the edge details. Which means the contrast paint, hopefully, feels shadowy enough that it sort of plays out and looks nice. And I think it does. I'm happy with it, and that's the core. As long as I'm happy with it, I will gladly stand across the table from a nerd who's super mad that my blue is not the right color blue. Because maybe that person has a lot of bad stuff going on in their life, and they need that moment. And that's fine. Doesn't happen often, though, which is good. Well, yeah. You could. I mean, I'm not... If you're asking if I'll allow it, go right ahead. I do not own that method. But, like... See, like, the top started as purple contrast. And then I just applied Gene Stealer purple to it. Got the blue on the frames. Mauler Fiend. But you're saying you want, like, the Bret Hart look? Let me think. It might be difficult. Because are you looking for the gold border or are you looking for the black border? Like, are you looking old Emperor's Children or new Emperor's Children? And do you want to do metallics or do you want to do all flats, like non-metallic? I love it, Phoenix. Do you want to do black or do you want to do gold? Yeah. I realize there's a delay, so it's kind of funny. But, trying to think, because the issue is if you're starting black, maybe do you want a black trim or are you trying to do like, oh, this is a struggle bus. How would the sequence of this work? Because if you start black, that means you only need to paint the panels, which you would paint pink, of course. I don't know how useful that would be doing this. The only reason this really works here is because the contrast is done over top of the gold, which means you can easily see the contrast. But applying pink contrast over black won't achieve the same effect. You need the inside to be a lighter color than black. If you're going to paint the black trim, that's another story. Sequencing at that time would be, you would want a kind of dark pink, I feel like, contrast paint. You would paint the whole model white. You would then apply the dark pink contrast paint over everything that you want, basically. You would then get your panel color, which would be a super, if it's going to be Bret Hart, like you were saying, it would have to be like a really light pink. Like common pinks that you normally would use, like the Emperor's Children pink, this feels too saturated. You're trying to look for like a lighter pink. I almost think creating a custom rose silver might be the way for you to go. Because then you do what I'm doing here, but instead of doing like a flat layer color in the recesses, you're applying your rose silver, your like rose pink silver, and you do the same thing. Then you do black trim the whole way around. And again, you're not trying to go edge to edge. You're letting the contrast pink dark feel go to those edges. Now, alternatively, let me show you something. Fanatic magenta shade. No. Sure. My address isn't on here, right? Cool. Personally, what I think you could do, it would probably be better. You probably don't need to contrast it. Sorry for the flashbang, but I don't see a night mode for this website. This is magenta tone. It's basically a shader. In my opinion, what you could do is you could paint the entire model prime it black, get the rose silver tone, do all the panels in rose silver, because metallics look really good over black. I have a whole video on this, but basically what metallic is really tiny glitter suspended in a medium. So there's gaps in between it, and if you have a really light undercolor, it makes it look terrible. If you start with black, though, it looks great. If you start with any dark color, it looks fantastic. So if your silver is already like rose pink silver, you can now manually go in, do all of the panels rose pink to the best of your ability, and then hit the entire model with this. If I can see... Do they have a good example? No, they don't. So this is a shader. It's very liquidy and loose. It will go to most of the recesses on the model itself. It doesn't hold on like flat surfaces is basically the trick with it. It's magenta tone. So it's going to pull the outer edge of your panels close to magenta, which would be kind of what you would get out of like a dark contrasty pink, which you would then apply the silver over top of. This might be a faster method to go from black to rose silver to this. In my opinion, probably the better bet. The question is whether you can get your hands on rose silver or if you need to make your own. I'm pretty sure there's a rose silver, though. Let me see if Army Painter has a rose silver. Worst case scenario, you do silver, and then you do like a really light pink contrast over top of that. Because the black will be mildly unaffected by the light pink contrast. Rose gold. Nope, I want rose silver. Yeah, you might need to mix it. Thwack you, that helped me a lot. I'm pretty sure you said thank you. That's gonna be my headcanon. And you're welcome. I love making contrast, or I love making formulas for how to paint stuff. War paints are good. I like Army Painter war paints. Specifically the Fanatic line. Fanatic line is fantastic. It's probably one of the few miniature paints I use. I blend between Army Painter war paints and Citadel paints, but I also do heavily lean into just straight up acrylics. I usually have to apply a lot of like, where is it? Here we are. I have to apply like glazing medium to it to make it thin enough that it's fine. That's fine. No hate here. It is actually kind of enjoyable. Normally when I'm trying to type, it's on a cell phone screen, and my thumbs, they're like weird. They got that double joint, and they're also really big. So every time I type on a phone, it's just like I have to stop at the end of every sentence, proofread to make sure my thumbs didn't just like hit something weird. I keep trying to do the voice to text, but the voice to text at this point is weirdly tied in, I think, with like the Gemini AI system on Google phones. So halfway through me talking about Warhammer stuff in text, it's like, I have no idea what you're talking about, so I'm just going to assume you're trying to talk like a normal human being. And I'm going to, I'm going to change that word to a whole other word. I'm going to put, like, different parentheses and different punctuation here than what you would have wanted to use because it makes more sense as, like, a normal sentence. It's like, you bastards. Type what I'm saying, god damn it. Vallejo's good. I'm actually super happy that I found out that the strike they were doing actually resulted in some positive, results. It sounded terrible that the new people who owned them were just like, we don't care about your human rights. Look, we get that you want to feed yourselves, but we want to make money, so... Ramen is cheap. And they were like, yeah, we just won't work for you. And then they were like, oh yeah, we need workers. That... Completely forgot about that. Sorry, everyone. Sorry. Because this is Vallejo gold. The main gold on my Thousand Sons is Vallejo, because it's probably one of the coolest, like, best toned golds that doesn't feel just like pristine shiny. This feels like it's seen some things. This is a gold that has to go to a psychiatrist for its PTSD. Vallejo, to my understanding, from what I remember reading like a year or two ago, they changed ownership. Whoever was the original owner sold to someone, and that new person kind of like neglected interacting with the employees who, like, cost of living is constantly going up everywhere. So the employees were like, hey everyone, rent and food is hard now. Can we maybe work something out? And the new owners were just like, no, we're not going to work anything out. You're going to make the paints, and we're going to, hand you the meager sum of money we hand you now, and all will be well. To which the guys working at Vallejo all went, cool, and then went on strike. And then the new owners realized, again, that workers are important, and they make stuff. Which, made them negotiate, get better. I think they got like extra benefits or something, and just slightly more income, like a livable wage, basically. Because it's a big company that bought them. And they are one of the premier miniature painting and just generally painting companies. Like, their pigments are fantastic. I was worried because I kept hearing the news that they were on strike, but you know how news cycles are usually like, we're going to give you the horrifying stuff because that's what's going to get you to click, but then when things fix themselves, we're not going to tell you anything? It took me a minute to find out that they actually, got some results, which is good. Ah, nice. The only copper I've ever used that I liked was actually Liquitex ink. I have an airbrush, and a lot of my stuff is done with airbrush to a degree. Some stuff is just like almost fully done with airbrush. My Gene Stealer cult. Like, there is very little layer paint on this guy. It's just bulk brush from the air variety. So when I painted my Death Guard kill team, I actually used copper from Liquitex, and it looked really good. I know Army Painter has a copper. I do not like how it looks. I've tried to use it on a few things, and it just looks really bad. Or Army Painter. No, yeah, it's good that they sorted it out. Factory work is always crazy for like big companies. I had a friend over on Twitch. Speaking of which, for new people, we are streaming both on Twitch and YouTube. There's currently a playlist going on over on Twitch. YouTube has yelled at me one too many times about the music I listen to over here, so I'm just trying to avoid all that for now. I might try to figure something out down the road, though. 'Cause I know it's a bit weird. You're just listening to my AC try to keep this room cool in 90-degree weather. Inks aren't bad. I've only ever applied inks in airbrush format. Airbrush format application of inks is incredible. Probably one of the best ways I've ever zenithal white onto a model is with Liquitex white from an airbrush. It's like designed for an airbrush. It's already the consistency that airbrushes desire. It comes out hyper smooth. It's so good. People usually use, I think, watered down inks for washes. Like if you want to do like a really cool colored shader that normal companies don't have like pre-designed as a shader, you have to get like thinning agents or something and then just put ink in it. I want to say Goobertown has a video on it where he shows making like a purple wash for his Drakari. And he makes it out of like a Liquitex purple ink. Which, if you're wondering about applying washes, I know, even though he doesn't do like hobby stuff, Glass Half Dead showed off this technique that many other artists have kind of known for years. You sort of water down the wash a bit, you put it in a squirt bottle, and then you just take your army outside and just squirt it with the squirt bottle to cover it in wash fluid. Flick it off right at the end, and then just set it aside. You can do a whole army in like a 2-hour time period. Easily. Maybe even like 20 minutes if you're really gunning through it. If you got the like feeling for how much you have to spray on. Just be in and out of there in no time. I don't normally apply washes to things. My Emperor's Children didn't get any washes. I think the main thing that gets washes in my army is probably my knights. I do a lot of washes on my knights because there's a lot of detail on them that's worth applying washes to. I would probably have to apply Drakenhof Shade to this if I didn't already have the contrast down like I do. We're 3 hours, 20 minutes in. I'm going to have to make dinner soon. Yeah. Probably get this guy done and then call it. We've done 8 Terminators today out of the 20 I needed to complete. Well, I say need. It's a very loose term. The only reason I need them is because I want to try to play Phalanx at some point. And I know last tournament I went to, there was a guy playing Phalanx. And he definitely had a ton of Terminators. I think he was just getting into Thousand Suns at the time. And when you're just getting into them and you're just starting to collect, you usually look for very expensive units so that you can get to 2k points easily. And doing that with Terminators, especially if you bought the battle box, which I think has a Terminator squad in it, and then you get like an old combat patrol for another Terminator squad, and then you can just buy a couple Terminator boxes. You get to 2k points quite easily with 2 squads of 10 Terminators. So he was running Phalanx with bulk Terminators, and everyone was kind of like poking fun at it a little bit because, yeah, the tournament was pre the adjustments to Knights. And everyone was playing Knights because the toughness of a Knight back then was just ludicrous. It made it very easy for Knights players to survive a lot of stuff, especially with the Imperial Knight special detachment that gave them feel no pains and stuff. Like, that was just crazy. Terminator stood no chance into them. So everyone was kind of like, you use Terminators. I mean, you can't be mad about it because they're not that good. And they're still not great. But the adjustments to Knights, honestly, I think it makes lists like a heavy Terminator Phalanx list not the worst. I think the whole thing that they're doing going forward is less durability in general, which means you'll be taking more hits. But I thought the FNP was going to be built in to a lot of the factions now. I think Chaos Knights, it's -1 to hit is the big one you want to go for. Like, you just have the durability you have, and then you apply a team-wide -1 to hit outside the 18-inch range. The Space Marine Vanguard rule. Oh, and for those who are new to the channel as well, up here we have chat. I'm, as I said, streaming on Twitch and YouTube. That's the combined chat. So you guys can see what each other are talking about. Hopefully. I don't know. Maybe it's too small for some people in that corner. Like, the points drops that the Knights got hit with, I feel like are going to add maybe like 2 more small Knights to the table for the reductions. Or like 1 large Knight, depending on what you can pull off. And that's fine. It's fine. It's just, the scaling is just, I feel so much better. Especially with the effective damage output. Because you got to think about it, right? Chaos Space Marine, the Chaos Knights, the Brigands don't hit on 2s anymore. Neither do Carnivores. So some of like the most effective and efficient output damages are gone. My old system in Chaos Knights was a Castigator with a ton of Brigands and like a couple Carnivores for just poking fun at people. And then I had a Desecrator, and I would long leash the Desecrator into all of my Brigands that I could. And then I'd have the Castigator near those Brigands. So my entire army, every shooting phase, when I would see you, would be hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, sustains on all the attacks. It was fantastic. It was a great blend for what I was trying to pull off. I would basically slow play mid for 2 turns, just hosing anything down that walked into mid. I was playing one of the people at the store who's in like the top list. He plays Necrons. I think he's like top 20 in the world right now, or like top 25 maybe. It's mostly just because of the points. Like, he's played a ton of tournaments in a quick succession, which shot him up in the rankings. Because he's good. He's really good with it. He plays a lot of world #1 people, and he dominates them. Because he plays kind of like differently than what people expect. And I remember playing his Hypercrypt. Turn one, I outspaced him. He sent out some pokey type models. Like, I think he was trying to run in the practice game, he was trying to run Scorpex. Oh, go for it. Are you painting them right now? Did you immediately take what I said to do and you just had the stuff on hand and you're like, yep, here we go? We do have a Discord. We do have a minis gallery. If you did just join the Discord, give me a second, because I don't know if you can post pictures without being part of the Discord. So I'd have to add you in. But let's go to mini whips. Ooh, someone's painting an old world army. Oh, building. Nice. I was like, what? He's got all these products just sitting next to you. I was like, oh yeah. I like the sound of that paint job. Good thing I already have it all. Here we go. What you building? What you got? What list you running for Emperor's Children? I am very partial to Carnival. I'm also very partial to Mercurial. I also do really like the idea of Rapid Evisceration. I just don't like the pacing of Rapid Evisceration. I feel like Rapid Evisceration, the best thing you can do in it is to have that like Lucius plus Flawless Blade Land Raider and consistently pop out, kill a whole thing, pop back into the Land Raider. Because outside of that, I mean, you drop Infractors out of Rhinos. I feel like you've got one turn for those rerolls of hits and stuff, and then that's it. If the Rhino doesn't follow them upfield, they're basically dead in the water. Hopefully they score, I guess. Like, that's all you're doing. Outside of that, I do think a second Land Raider with 2 squads of Noise Marines is pretty awesome. Especially with Cacophonous leads. Although I'd probably rather run... It's weird. I would rather put like a full-size squad of Infractors with an Exultant in a Land Raider. So that would be the second one. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it punches that hard. Weirdly, it has a way to punch really hard in Mercurial. Mercurial has an upgrade that gives you +1 to hit against targets below starting strength, and then +1 to wound against targets below half of starting strength. I once handed that to a full-size squad of Infractors with an Exultant. So that's full melee. The squad itself, without the leader's additional something like 9 attacks that he gets, is 40 attacks, hitting on 2s, full rerolls of the wound roll, lethal hits, AP 1, damage 1. And if you happen to go into something at half starting strength, you're also wounding... Usually into vehicles on 5s, but then into like people on either 3s or 2s with rerolls. It's such a crazy squad. Everyone MSUs it, but like having one big squad with a really nice buff is cool. But what people usually do is they'll give the Noise Marines the upgrade, because hitting on 2s with Noise Marines is also really good. Let alone the +1 to wound on half strength models. You do that into a vehicle, those Noise Marines will chew it apart. Mercurial's great too. You take 3 Chaos Spawn And you'll have a total per turn of 4 units who can reactive move 6 inches. The 3 chaos spawn, and then 1 of anything that isn't a vehicle or a beast. Because the only beasts you get already get reactive moves. Which is fantastic when someone runs up past a wall to get to you, and then you just reactive move through the wall so they can't get to you anymore. It's hilarious. Ugh. That and Mercurial gets a full army-wide reroll of advanced rolls, which is really good because normally you'd pay a command point for that. So every time you do it, you're basically saving a command point. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, we'll call it here so I can go make food. We got to do the green stuff for these guys. So we got done this 6 and then those 2, and then I already had 1 done before that. So yeah, 8 guys. And then we just have a whole boatload of them over here. Get all my Terminators done. I'm 5 away from all 30 possible Terminators. 5. Flawless Blades from Combat Patrol. List I'm probably going to run. Peerless. Peerless is good. People underestimate Peerless, I think. A lot of people have talked about how Peerless is really nice. Noise Marines in Peerless, though, is like a little less. I feel like you almost want to maximize your potentials for Flawless and Refractor. And then just focus on Tormentors to sit on backlines. Like MSU Tormentors. But I don't know. Maybe Noise Marines will be fine in that list. But yeah. It sounds like Peerless could be good. I imagine Coterie is going to get a nerf at some point, at which point Peerless will definitely step up and be really good. But yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chilling, everyone. It's about to start basically hurricane storming outside, so my power is probably going to go out for like a minute. And I got to go make food. So I'm hungry. We might stream tomorrow. Pay attention. Maybe. If the store owner is no longer sick, I will not be around until Sunday, at which point we might stream Sunday. And I'll have the Chaos Knights Codex, and we're going to try to make a list. Later.